is McKenna Conlon. This is Margaret Sanger Fights for Reproductive Freedom, a turning point for women. May I begin? Woman must not accept, she must challenge. She must not be awed by that which has been built up around her. She must reverence that woman in her, which struggles for expression. Margaret Sanger. My name is Margaret Sanger, age 31. The year is 1911. Right now I'm working as a visiting nurse in the Lower East Side of New York City, and I also write for The Call, a publication which prompts progressivism movements. However, unlike most writers in my time, I see firsthand the struggles of a 20th century mother. Contraception, abortion, or any other birth prevention is reviled in my time, but it is desperately needed. I hear stories left and right these days. A baby born dead, great relief. The death of an older child, sorrow, but again relief of a sort. And the story told 1,000 times of death from childbirth and children going into institutions. A patient of mine died yesterday. A young girl named Sadie Sachs. Like all other Jewish women, she was taught no prohibition of birth control or abortion. But that didn't matter. I started seeing her about 3 months ago when she tried to induce an abortion, and her husband came home and found her unconscious. He called the doctor, and the doctor called me. The three of us sat together until we made sure she was okay, but then she turned to us and asked how to prevent it. The doctor laughed at her. And then she turned to me, and I'll never forget what she said. Please, he can't understand. He's only a man. But you do, don't you? Please, tell me the secret, and I'll never breathe it to a soul. Please. The pregnant women who can't afford to have children, don't want them, or will die going through childbirth, have nothing to help them, except a process that I see and in tragedy all the time. I can't watch this happen to my patients anymore. This is what I'm thinking. Mothers, can you afford to have a large family? Do you want any more children? If not, why do you have them? Do not kill, do not take life, but prevent. Safe, harmless information can be obtained from the nurses at 46 Amboy Street. Hello, Ethel? Yes. I know we've talked about opening up a clinic before. Just us. Now is the time. I think we need it. All the women that I see every day, they need it. Yes. Brooklyn, outside of the city. Yes, thank you. In the 1910s, with World War I in full swing, America was about to be hit with revolutions in science, art, and technology. But at the same time, a bigger wave of change would take place for women in the United States. The reproductive rights movement, an important and certainly amazing turning point for women's health and sexual freedom, all started with the actions of Margaret Sanger, just a maternity nurse with a dream for her patients. Sanger had no idea what was ahead for her, but she did know what she wanted. For herself, for her sisters, for her daughters, and for a country that had previously chosen to ignore the fundamental issues of reproduction. Undoubtedly a turning point in history, Margaret Sanger created a revolution and showed people new ways to look at contraception and the rights to make decisions about your own body. Whoever shall sell or shall offer to sell, or to lend, or to give away, or in any manner to exhibit obscene material, shall be deemed guilty of misdemeanor. Comstock Clause, 1873, passed to prevent distribution of contraception or sexual education materials. My name is Margaret Sanger, age 36. The year is 1960. The birth control clinic that was just a dream for my sister and I those 5 years ago has finally become a reality, and it is wildly popular. For the 10 days after it opened, we saw at least 50 women each day. But we soon realized that we had gotten excited too quickly, for on the 10th day after its opening, my sister and I were arrested for creating public nuisance. Both choosing jail time over financial penalties, we were given 30 days. However, I do not see this as noteworthy. For me, it is not and has never been a question of personal imprisonment or personal disadvantage. I am and always will be more concerned with the changing of the law and the sweeping away of the law, regardless of what I have to undergo to have it done. I cannot respect the law as it exists today. Despite our setback, we are not deterred. I recently started the American Birth Control League, a league of women who will stand by my side and fight for women's rights just as I do. With the team at my side, I can find the strength to go on, but it is still harder than ever. For, at the age of just 5 years old, my daughter has died. With another son, my husband William and I have to find a way to go on, but it is almost impossible. All of these things that I wanted were things that I wanted for her, things that I wanted to change for the future generation of women. It is my strongest belief, at the center of my crusade, that families should be able to provide and nurture their children in the best ways they can. So it is with my daughter in memory that I coined the phrase, "Every child, a wanted child," which we used in campaigns for years to come. Neglect of an effective birth control policy is a never-failing source of poverty, which in turn is the parent of revolution and crime. Aristotle. My name is Margaret Sanger, age 57. The year is 1937. These past years have been a very exciting time for me, very busy. Having founded the American Birth Control League in 1914, I decided it was time for a change. So using funds from my 1922 marriage to James Noah, I decided to start a research center in Manhattan, the Birth Control Clinical Research Bureau. Here has been much easier to maintain than the clinic despite minor legal troubles, but it is with this that I have gathered a valuable database of patient records, which I can use to prove the safety of birth control. Perhaps even better, researchers and professionals from this team have been sent across the country to spread my message, and it has shown. During the Great Depression, birth rates in the United States dropped up to 17 points. Certainly not all because of my movement, but I know my views are becoming more widely accepted. Use of illegal contraception spiked during this period. My views are just that much closer to becoming the norm in society. The state of the world today demands that women become less modest and dream, plan, act, and risk on a larger scale. Charlotte Bunch. My name is Margaret Sanger, age 79. The year is 1959. I've spent the last 22 years traveling the world, particularly Asia, as a public speaker and educator. I moved to Arizona in 1937 with plans of retiring, although I never fully retired. I left the American Birth Control League when I decided they no longer needed my help, and were now a nonprofit under the name Planned Parenthood. This is the very first Planned Parenthood logo ever created, and it is known throughout New York. Planned Parenthood teaches classes to women and to couples about sexuality and contraception, as well as funding the Manhattan Research Center. Here at the Research Center, we have just made a very valuable discovery. Testing has been started on an easier, more effective, more efficient form of contraception in the form of a pill, Enovid, the very first oral contraceptive. At age 80, just 6 years before she died, Margaret Sanger got to see something that she never thought she would see in her lifetime. In 1960, birth control was made legal for all couples in the United States, a great change and an amazing step forward in history. The American Birth Control League, now the nationally known Federation of Planned Parenthood, tried and still tries to change the way people view the battle for legalization. Not that it is a way to abandon future life, but a way to make sure that all life is wanted, and that women can make their own choices about their body and health. Margaret Sanger saw the way that her mother lived, a poor woman with no way for birth prevention, who died after 11 live births and 7 miscarriages. Sanger didn't want a life like that, so she created something new. She turned views, turned laws, and turned mindsets for millions of people. She created a turning point in her time and in ours. But it is in our time that we see that we are limited by laws that exclude us from making decisions about our own bodies, and that we cannot respect the law as it exists today.